It started with a call. The kind that makes the hair on your arms stand up before you even answer. The clock on my nightstand blinked 3:13 a.m. in angry red numbers. My phone screen was just a blank, white light. No number, no caller ID. Just an incoming call from nowhere. I hesitated for a moment, my thumb hovering over the green icon. Curiosity is a dangerous thing, especially in the dead of night. I answered. At first, there was nothing. Just a wall of static, like an old TV trying to find a signal in a storm. It hissed and crackled in my ear, a sound that felt both empty and full at the same time. I almost hung up, thinking it was just a pocket dial from another dimension. But then, I heard it. A sound layered beneath the static, so faint I wasn't sure it was real. Breathing. Slow, deep, and rhythmic. It wasn't my breathing. It was heavy, labored, like someone had just run a marathon. I said hello, my voice a little shaky. The breathing just continued, steady and unnerving. I asked who was there. Silence. Then the call ended. I sat there in the dark, my heart pounding a frantic rhythm against my ribs. I tried to tell myself it was a prank, a glitch, anything but what it felt like. But I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. That night, sleep didn't come easy. Every creak of the house, every rustle of leaves outside my window sounded like footsteps. The next night, it happened again. 3:13 a.m. The same blank screen, the same silent ring. Part of me, the logical part, screamed not to answer. To turn the phone off, throw it across the room, anything. But another, darker part of me needed to know. I had to know. So I answered. The static returned, familiar and unwelcome. The breathing was there too, closer this time, it seemed. I held my breath, listening. And then a voice spoke. And the blood in my veins turned to ice. The voice was mine. It wasn't a recording. It was my voice, speaking in a calm, conversational tone, as if it were sitting right next to me. "You're going to get a glass of water," it said. And just as the words echoed in my ear, a wave of thirst washed over me, so intense it was all I could think about. My body moved on its own, swinging my legs out of bed. I walked to the kitchen in a daze, the phone still pressed to my ear. The voice, my voice, kept narrating my every move before I made it. "You're opening the cupboard now. Taking out the glass you like, the one with the small chip on the rim." I looked down. The glass was in my hand, the tiny chip right where my thumb was resting. My heart was a jackhammer. "You're filling it from the tap," the voice continued, its tone never changing. "You're going to take a long drink." "It won't help." I drank the water, my throat so tight I could barely swallow. It felt like drinking dust. I walked back to my bedroom, a puppet on a string. The voice kept up its terrifying play-by-play. "You're going to sit on the edge of your bed. You're going to look at your reflection in the dark TV screen." I did. I sat down and stared at my own faint silhouette in the blank television across the room. "Don't turn around," the voice on the phone whispered, a sudden urgency in its tone. "Whatever you do, don't look behind you." Every instinct in my body was a siren, blaring a warning. But the command was an anchor, rooting me to the spot. My eyes were glued to the reflection. A shape was forming behind my own silhouette. Tall, impossibly thin, with limbs that seemed too long, bent at unnatural angles. It was just a smudge of deeper darkness against the shadows, but it was there. My hand trembled, but I couldn't hang up. I couldn't move. "I told you not to look," the voice on the phone said, and for the first time, it sounded different. It wasn't my voice anymore. It was lower, guttural. It was the breathing from the first call. My rational mind shattered. In a burst of pure animal terror, I broke the command. I spun around. There was nothing there. Just my empty room, the moonlight painting pale stripes on the floor. I whipped my head back to the TV. The reflection was empty, just my own terrified face staring back. And then a sound came from the phone that I will never, ever forget. Laughter. It was a cold, dry, rattling sound, like stones tumbling down a chasm. It filled my head, scraping against the inside of my skull. And then the voice, that horrible, changed voice, spoke one last time before the line went dead. They hear better when you're afraid. The days that followed were a blur of paranoia and exhaustion. I stopped sleeping. How could I? I knew what was waiting for me at 3:13 a.m. I unplugged my landline. I turned my cell phone off and buried it in a drawer, but the fear had taken root. I saw shadows in every corner. I heard whispers in the wind. The world started to feel wrong. The change was subtle at first. I'd be walking down the street and notice someone just standing there, perfectly still. On a busy sidewalk, they'd be a statue in a river of people. Their head cocked slightly to the side, as if listening to a distant sound only they could hear. Their eyes would be unfocused, distant. It was unsettling, but I tried to ignore it. Then it started happening with people I knew. I called my friend Mark to try and explain what was happening, to try and sound sane. He didn't answer. I tried again. And again. The next day, I went to his apartment. I found him in his living room, standing in front of his silent television, perfectly still. He didn't respond when I called his name. He didn't even blink. He was just standing there, listening. His phone was on the coffee table, screen dark. I backed away slowly, the cold dread from that phone call returning with a vengeance. It spread like a virus. One by one, people around me stopped answering their phones. They stopped talking. They just stood in their homes, at their desks at work, in the middle of grocery store aisles. An army of silent listeners waiting for a call that never seemed to come. The city grew quiet. The normal hustle and bustle was replaced by an eerie stillness, broken only by the sound of the wind. I felt like the last sane person in a world gone mad. I was isolated, trapped in a nightmare of my own making. I had answered the call, and in doing so, I had let something in. Something that was now calling to everyone else. I live in a constant state of fear now. I've barricaded myself in my apartment. I've covered all the reflective surfaces, mirrors, windows, TV screens. I don't want to see what might be standing behind me. But the silence is the worst part. The profound, heavy silence of a world that has stopped communicating. A world that is only listening. My phone is still in the drawer, turned off, battery long dead. But it doesn't matter. I know it's coming. Every night, as the clock ticks closer to that unholy hour, the fear intensifies. It's a physical presence in the room with me. And every night, at exactly 3:13 a.m., I hear it. It's not a ring you can hear with your ears. It's a vibration in the air, a hum that resonates deep in my bones. It's a silent, phantom call that echoes through the whole city. I can feel it calling to me, pulling at me. And I know, even with my phone off, that out there, in the quiet streets and silent houses, they are answering. All of them. They raise their dark, silent phones to their ears. And they listen. And I know that one of these nights, I won't be able to stop myself. One of these nights, I'll join them. I will stand still. And I will answer the call. Because they hear better when you're afraid. And I am so afraid. Thanks for listening. If you felt that chill down your spine, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss what calls next.